Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tomorrow and Still. And don't look at that. Don't look at that. Yeah. So it's been a while since I recorded my last video, but I am back home from school. I am no longer swamped with schoolwork, so I can actually like read more and actually like make videos and talk about books because I really miss doing that. So I thought we're back home. We're back in the whole grind thing. So I thought, why not just make a little video talking about what I'm planning on reading this summer, because I have books planned. I have so many things planned. So, yeah, I'm just going to do a little quick, tiny video. Just kind of talk about the books I have on deck, the ones I'm reading, the ones I want to read, all that jazz. So, yeah. So speaking of jazz, let's talk about the books that I am reading right now. The first one is Jazz by Toni Morrison. So I am 60-ish pages into this book. It's not a very long book. It's only about 250 pages, but so over the summer I actually read Sula over the school year I read Sula by Toni Morrison. That is my third Toni Morrison book, because I read Song of Solomon, I read Beloved, and then I read Sula. So this is my number 4. I've had this one for a while, actually, and I've tried getting into it a couple of times, but now I'm actually kind of rolling now. And this is a very fascinating book because it reminds me a lot of Sula. It's a very Toni Morrison novel where something happens, a big thing happens in this community of mostly Black people. And so she explains and explores what led to that thing happening. And in this case, this woman breaks into a funeral and vandalizes the corpse of the girl. Yeah, so this woman named Violet breaks into a funeral and vandalizes the corpse of the woman in the casket. And so the entire book is about like the complex relationship and all of the things that happened in like that led up to Violet wanting to do that. And it's a very fascinating novel, and one of the main motifs that I'm starting to run into now, about 60 pages in, is, I'm finally starting to figure out why the book is called Jazz, and it's a really pretty written book. It's not as captivating as some of her other novels, especially Sula and Song of Solomon, but it's still pretty good. I'm enjoying it, and I am hoping to finish it up soon because it's not really that long. The print inside of the book is fucking huge, so yeah, that's Jazz. The second book that I am reading that I am loving to death right now is Snow by Orhan Pamuk. So if you were on my TikTok a while ago, you would have known that I had to read My Name is Red by Orhan Pamuk, and so I was like, I want to read more of this dude. And so what I ended up doing is I ended up going to Barnes & Noble and getting these two books. I got Snow and the Museum of Innocence. And so I am gonna go on just a little bit of a Pamuk binge this summer because like I started reading Snow and like I knew it was gonna be good, but oh my god, I love this book. I could go on about this book all fucking day. And it makes me excited to read the Museum of Innocence because I've heard some incredible things about this book as well. So this book, Snow, it is about this dude named Ka who returns to Turkey after being in political exile in Europe for a while. He returns to Istanbul, starts working for a paper. Ka is a poet by trade, but he starts working for an Istanbul paper, and so he is tasked with reporting on a string of suicides happening in the towns of Kars and Batman. And the entire book is about, yes, the string of suicides that have to do with the real life political movement of the headscarf girls in Turkey, because when Turkey was trying to become a secular nation in the late 1900s, like the 80s or 90s, I want to say, they went the French route of saying you can't display any sign of religious affiliation if you're a public official. And so that extended to girls going to school could not wear headscarves. And so there was a whole movement of schoolgirls like rebelling or in like protesting against this by going to school, wearing their headscarves, having this whole thing. And so in this book, in Cars and Batman, there is a string of serial suicides happening in school-age girls, mostly that are affiliated with the headscarf girl movement. And so a lot of this book is examining the political state of these small conservative areas, but also kind of exploring just Turkey as a whole at that time, the political landscape of Turkey as a whole at the time, of the whole conflict of secularist Turkey. And it also talks a lot about God and religion and atheism in Turkey, especially at the time, because one of the big conflicts that's happening, especially in the first like third of the book, is Ka is being put on blast for his own religion. A lot of these super religious people, especially these schoolboys, are asking him, "Are you religious? Are you religious? Are you an atheist? Are you an atheist?" And kind of hounding him about this. And Ka keeps saying he doesn't know. But there's a really, really, really beautiful passage in the book, and when he's being questioned about his religion, saying that the snow that keeps falling, because Kars is being hounded by a massive snowstorm at the time this book takes place. He says that the snow reminds him of God, and there's this whole like it's largely about Ka's religious conflict. But something I'm also learning as this book goes on is Orhan Pamuk is the master of motif. Oh my god, this dude can do motif. Like I thought he did it well in My Name is Red, but oh my god, this book does it even fucking better. It's so cool. And also the I could talk about this book all day, and I'm only 130 pages in. Like there's so much going on. I could talk about all day about the fact that nobody actually cares about the suicide girls. Nobody actually cares about them. Everybody's using them for their own political gain. Like this book is fascinating. And if this book is fascinating, then I am so interested to see what this book is about. Because this book is about this dude named Kamal, who finds this girl that he becomes absolutely obsessed with, to the point where he just starts collecting all of the things that he can get his hands on that have been even remotely related to the girl that he is in love with, who is named Fuesun. And this is a really interesting book, and I'm reading this because this book actually got adapted into a real life museum, and filled with all the things that Kamal collected regarding Fuesun. And so I kind of want to read this just to because the concept of this book is actually really fascinating. So those are my Pamuks that I want to read. Now into the books I have not touched in the slightest. We are talking about Vineland by Thomas Pynchon. So I have read the Crying a Lot 49 and V. Both really good books, super absurdist, really fun, love it. I really like Pynchon as an author. I don't know if I'm ever going to actually read Gravity's Rainbow. I might one day if I'm feeling especially delusional, but I do really enjoy this. I really enjoyed his writing in V and The Crying a Lot 49, so I want to give another one of his novels a shot. I've heard really good things about this book. And yeah, so that's really all I have to say about this. Like, it seems interesting. And it's not one of his crimes, because I'm not really interested in his like film noir crime style, like his crime novels, like Bleeding Edge and that jazz. So I am excited to read this. Next up, I want to read Paradise by Toni Morrison. So I have heard things about this book. I have heard that this book is really, really, really hard, which, you know, is my thing. Like, you've seen half of my shelf. I've read Absalom, I'm good. But I have heard that this book is really hard. I'm reading this. I want to read this especially because this is the third novel in her Dante-esque trilogy. The first one being Beloved, the second one being Jazz, and the third one being Paradise. You know, Inferno, Limbo, and Paradise. for Dante. I have no idea what this book is about, to be completely honest, but the opening line is fascinating. Hold on, let me read the opening line of this book. They shoot the white girl first. With the rest, they can take their time. That's an interesting opening sentence. So yeah, and I love Toni Morrison. She is easily probably my favorite author behind William Faulkner, and so I'm really, really excited to read this novel, to see what there is in store in her slightly more obscure works, because, you know, I'm getting to this point where I'm starting to read authors that are largely known for one or two incredible works, but then a lot of their other stuff, their gems are hidden behind more obscurity. So I'm really excited to get into the really, really big stuff that Toni Morrison worked on. So next up is my short novel that I really want to read, the really, really short one that I have on my shelf for this summer, and that is Snow Country by Yasunari Kawabata. I like Japanese I read a while ago, I read The Housekeeper, the Professor by Yoko Ogawa, and I really enjoyed it. And I also just kind of need short fiction to fill in these pretty thick books that I'm planning on reading. So I felt like this was a really good one. This is like a very, very, very famous Japanese novel. And it also kind of feels like it's a little fluffier, because it's definitely not hard to read. I read like the first couple of pages, and it is, my God, is it easy. The train came out of the long tunnel into the snow country. The earth lay white under the night sky. The train pulled up at a signal stop. Like, that's the first paragraph. It is easy. But I am excited to read it just to have something I could burn through and like feel good about myself, because it's like 170 pages long. Like, I've read fan fiction bigger than this, to be completely honest. So yeah, this will be a really easy read. The text is also massive, so if you need something that is super, super quick, super, super easy read, pick this book up. I have only read like a couple pages of it, but it does seem like it's going to be really, really, really simple, really quick, really fluffy. It probably is sad because, you know, Japan and romance, but I also feel like it's not going to be as like emotionally like dark and devastating as all of the other books on my to read list for the summer. So yeah, that is Snow Country. And finally, you must be wondering what my Faulkner reads are going to be for the summer. And I'm going to try and read 2 this summer. Try is the keyword. So I kind of stalled. I'm going to be honest. I stalled really, really hard on my Faulkner reading. And so my 2 reads that I want to do this summer are the same as they were like last year. And that's going to be Flags in the Dust and Pylon, which is still in my car, because I bring that to work to read at lunch. But yeah, so those are going to be my 2 reads for the summer. I got a decent ways into Flags in the Dust. I got like 70 pages in before dropping it. So I'm gonna give it another try, see what happens. When in doubt, if I really want to, I do have Sartoris on my shelf, which is an abridged version of this book. So if I seemingly just cannot get myself to read Flags in the Dust, I can always just read Sartoris. But I definitely do want to read Pylon, and I've been really enjoying Pylon. Pylon's really fun. Even though it's light. It's light compared to what Faulkner writes. It's not an easy read, because Faulkner's not easy to read, obviously, but it's really lighthearted and simple and just kind of dumb. To be completely honest, it's a little dumb, but yeah. So this summer I do really want to read those 2 books, and give reviews on them and place them in the ranking and all that stuff. So yeah, I have a pretty stacked summer now that I'm really thinking about it, because like I have plans to read some pretty good freaking books. Like, look at that. That's a good selection of books to read. So yeah, that's my plan for the summer. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to read all of them. I'm probably not, to be completely honest. Oh wait, I forgot Jazz. Let's get Jazz in here. Yeah. I'm probably not gonna be able to read all of them. because I don't read very reliably, but I am excited. That's my plan. Those are all the books that I have here to read. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'm so excited to be back and to be making videos again and talking about books and the things that I love. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.